Hey everyone, it's Jim
and Charles
from Preamp. And in this episode, we've got a low temperature fiddly thing to install and a high temperature fiddly thing to install. So if you're in a rush and you're just trying to get something done in a hurry or you're tired, this is not the episode to build today. Take a break, come back to it nice and fresh because you need to be focused, you need to take your time. And it's just a little fiddly. And then I promise you we've got some fun stuff to do in the next episode. Okay, so first of all, these things are they can be a pita to snip off. You really need some really sharp shears like this, or snips.
And it helps if you have somebody hold the end that you're snipping off here too. Otherwise it's going to go flying off into the ether.
Yeah, so if you don't have a helper,
there we go.
Then just, put a clean wastebasket underneath what you're doing. I'm just snipping off that end somewhere where it won't hit us in the eyes. So eye protection is important. And I'll show you how we just get rid of that extra piece there. So you need 6 of them, but there are, I think, 4 extras. So, and there's a reason why there's 4 extras, because unless you're good at this, you'll break a couple probably. And one more. Okay, let's go grab the board and we'll get these on. Okay, so we've got 4 jumpers to get installed here and 2 over here. These are for the XLR inputs, and these are for the RCA inputs. Now, what I like to do, I'm gonna while I'm yapping here, I've got my soldering irons warming up. We're just actually getting going for the day, and I'm gonna try it at a fairly cool temperature, 370 C, which is about 690 Fahrenheit.
You have to be careful with these. They have very little thermal mass, and too much heat and you will melt the pin right through the plastic.
Yep. So we're going to put a little bit of flux on this side. The pads are small, so we don't need a lot of flux. And you might wonder, why the heck are the pads so darn small? Well, they're actually the same size as the trace, and they're just carrying a very small signal. So that's all we really need. In fact, when you're moving the signal around longer distances, if you can use a smaller wire, you actually reduce the capacitance of the feed. Now, these are so short, it's not going to make that much of a difference. So I'm going to show you what I like to do. So first of all, you really want a good clean tip, and you want to preload your tip with some solder, quite a bit, and make sure you get these on the right way. So
on the side with the label.
So I'm going to try and hold it vertical to the board, and I'm just going to tack 1 half.
I'm going to see if I can get you in focus here. There we go.
So I'm just going to come in here and boom. So I've just tacked 1 leg on, and now what I do is I come in and see if it's straight. And here we go, and it's not. But it's quite easy to just straighten it up a little bit. You just put a little bit of heat on that tack and just hold it for a second and come back. And nope, we're not quite there. Once you get into the swing of things, this actually goes quite well. And that's nice. Okay, so that's how you do it. So I'm going to tack and straighten each one in turn and get them on, and then I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so as I got going, I actually got better at it, and quite a few of them just went on straight. So now you can see we've got just 1 leg on. So what I like to do is I come back and I do the other leg. I've and I've consistently, you can see I've tried to do the same offset leg. So I'm going to come back in and I'm going to properly do the unsoldered leg. And once I get the unsoldered leg on, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to make sure that the tacked on leg is properly soldered. So I'm going to actually reflow them. I'll show you that in a second, but I'm going to let I'm doing them all because I've got to let the first solder legs cool. Okay. So you can see how this is a little lighter soldered than the rest because I just basically tacked it. So I'm going to come back and I remelt and I reflow. And the last thing to do, of course, is to check. So I'm going to take a look along it, and if I've got any that aren't quite straight, and I've got one actually, this guy right here. And am I going to fuss with it? Let's take a look at it. How close is it? It's pretty darn close. You know what? Even though I started off life as a perfectionist, I learned the hard way that close is good enough, because this is inside the chassis. Nobody's ever going to see it, and I can hardly tell that it's not quite perfect. So let's call it good. Okay, I think everybody knows what to do. Hop to it, everyone. Oh, and I almost forgot to say, because these pins get hot, I throw on a pair of nitrile gloves, and that seems to keep the heat off my finger long enough to tack them in place. Normally I don't work with gloves on, I just scrub up when I'm all done working.
You can also actually put the jumper on there too that is meant to jump it, and use that as a barrier whenever you're holding it on.
Yeah, the only thing about putting the jumper on is you're going to increase your thermal mass, and you're actually drawing the heat away from where you're trying to solder. So it'll work, I've done it that way.
But it affects it slightly.
Yeah, and it may actually make it a little harder to get them on properly. So, okay, hop to it, everyone. Okay, up next we're going to get the 4 RCA jacks on. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to get these nuts off, put them somewhere safe where you can't lose them. And I'm going to tack the center signal contact on first. So I'm going to set my temperature for sort of my regular working temperature, which is about 380 C, which is 710 Fahrenheit. And caution everyone, it's really easy to put the jacks on the wrong side. So the jacks go on the same side as the sockets where the label is. But I managed recently to put them all on the wrong side of the board. Duh.
And they are not fun to desolder.
But I did.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you're going to need your RCA jack holding tool. There's 2 of them in the kit, so you can do 2 at a time here. And this is what they look like. We'll show you how to load them. Invented
by Charles. So the first thing we do is we make sure that we've got the red for the right, and the white for the left. And the way to remember this in our kits is that the red always goes in the back.
All right, let's get this more on frame here. There we go.
It's a big board and small work table, so it doesn't work so well.
So you want to sort of preload the jack, and then as you're sliding this on, lift it up until it seats in there, and then push the tool all the way in.
Now, you want to look at the edge of the board and check to make sure the jack's sitting at 90 degrees. Now, I can't show that on camera, but you can just wiggle them slightly to make sure they're sitting in the right spot.
They should be very close already with the tool holding them the way it does.
And I'm going to actually load the other one as well. That's why you've got 2. Charles is just prepping the white one for the left channel. That's why we put 2 holders in, so that you could do a pair. It's just a lot more efficient. And again, I'm going to check and make sure that I'm vertical to the board. This is quite important because otherwise they won't go through the top plate neatly. And yeah, it might look messy too. So now the side to side is important as well. So you got 2 to look at, but I rarely find that this dimension here, that this angle sits crooked. It's this way that we've got to really pay attention. Okay. Now I'm going to adjust my build stance so that everything is sitting on the table somehow. Okay. So up first, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to do a regular temperature on the contact pin, and that'll help hold everything in place while we do the heavy work.
You've got to be careful here because these 3D printed parts, they are fairly temperature resistant, but not soldering iron temperature resistant.
Yeah, I've got a working set that I use for doing the pro builds, and they look like they've been, left on the stovetop for a couple of days, but they still work. So what you want to make sure is that you come in on the back side away from the center where the pin of the RCA cable sits, and you want to heat up that back area. I'm just touching it with some solder to make sure it's flowing, and then just fill that in, and boom, Bob's your uncle. See how nice that flowed out? Probably not, because I was probably blocking your view. I'll do one more. And let's see and keep your soldering iron off all those blue plastic things too. All the blue junctions will melt on you if you're not careful. And now, it's good to show when you have a failure. So the solder is not flowing so good, and I really didn't see too much of the flux burning off, so maybe I didn't have enough flux. So basically, if you've got a problem, restart the whole process over again. So I've cleaned my tip. I'm going to preload it with solder. And you know what? Those blue junctions are getting me nervous. So I'm going to take a different approach. And I'm going to come in. It's funny, I'm left-handed, but I like to hold my soldering iron with my right hand. It's, yeah.
Just one of those things.
In sports, I'm a switch hitter. I'm a weird baseball player. Okay, so now we're back on, and now we're flowing nicely. And I'm just going to fill that a little bit. You don't need too much. Okay, I'm going to take it over here to you, and you can see how I've just flown on the back. What you don't want to do is drop flux and solder down the middle. Now, when I'm done building, I always clean the center contact, but the less junk you have to clean, the better. Okay. So now it's time for some temperature. So I'm going to bring the temperature way, way up on my iron. 480 C, which is 900 Fahrenheit. Be careful, now the iron's getting really hot.
Let's just get this better positioned. There we go.
So now we're going to get a nice little bit of flux because we've got a fairly big area. And we've got 2 ground wings, but they're also structural supports, so they really anchor the RCA jacks. I love these jacks, but they're slightly fussy to get onto the board. Once they're on, boy, they're on. So the iron is heated up, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to press fairly firmly and get really good contact in here, and then I'm just going to start filling and filling and filling, and then I'm going to let that flow out. See how it's flowing into it? There we go. Isn't that beautiful? So that's all there is to it.
And at this point, you could actually take this off of here and get better access.
And I think I will. I'm not going to show everything because we want to keep these videos short. But now this jack's on there solidly. You can come in here like this, and you can do this one, and look at that flow out. It's just beautiful. And I like to pull my iron back and off sideways, and that makes for a nice smooth fill. Okay, I think everybody knows what they're doing. So you got some more jacks. Just take your time and hop to it, everyone.
And just be careful too, the jacks themselves are going to be very hot while you're doing this. The whole thing is a thermal mass that you're dumping heat into, so be careful while you're handling the board.
I don't think anybody is going to be fondling their jacks, are they?
Maybe not intentionally.
Okay, good luck everyone. We'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so that's what they look like. Let's flip it over. And you can see the red jacks in the back, and the red jacks in the back, and the whites in the front. Now, I just noticed that we put aside the R11s because we didn't want to put too much heat on those 1/4 watt resistors, but now is the perfect time to finish them up and finish the episode with a really quick job. So they are, R11s are 220K, and even though that's all I've got left in my parts bin, I'm actually I'm gonna get out my meter, and I'm going to check these to make sure that I didn't swap them with those 220Rs, and if they're 220Ks, then I'm pretty confident I got every resistor in the right spot. Okay, I'll see you back in just a minute. Okay, we've got them all installed. I've turned down my soldering iron to a little bit lower than my regular temperature because these are really small components. The traces are small, so 370C is going to be just fine, 690 Fahrenheit.
They are going to the ground plane though, which is a larger mass, so you may need a little bit more time and heat on those sides.
Well, let's find out. So let's just get one on and we'll see what happens. I'm trying to angle the board so that you can get a good view. It's a little tricky.
One of the joys of having a board about twice the size of anything else we've made. Okay, that was easy.
Now there's I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's the ground plane that Charles was talking about. These are actually the output load resistors. And I'm holding a little longer, and I'll snip that off. I'm only going to do one with you. And be careful, of course, we've got plastic all over the place. It's like an obstacle course in this corner. So just be careful you don't melt the plastic. So I did the one right in the corner. Sorry for all the flipping. And let's see how that goes. Oh, that went well. Let's try the other side. This is the one I think that's on the ground plane. And there we go. Bob's your uncle. Okay, I think everyone knows what they're doing. Hop to it, and I promise you the next episode we're going to start to have some fun.